Welcome back, 830 community. This is Frank Sanchez again. As schools are starting to open across the country, I thought I'd share some of the things that San Antonio is doing, specifically private schools. Now, again, it's important for us to kind of see what other institutions are doing so that we can try to replicate what they are doing and replicate their success as well. An article in the San Antonio Express has shared some of the steps taken by these schools. Here we go. First of all, single entrance. This is a great idea, especially if you want to be aware of exactly who's coming in and who's going out. Once classes are going, you really want to identify who's going in and apply some of the things that they're going to apply to all the students. These things include temperature checks and sniffing scented stickers. Some of the things that most classes or most schools will be doing is disinfecting at least twice a day. A great concept that a couple of schools will be afforded to do is separating the kids into pods. So you have the total population divided by 2. Half of the population will be going to campus physically on Mondays and Wednesdays. The other population will be showing up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Friday is agreed upon to be a remote learning day. This is done so you can spread the students across and to respect the social distancing rules set forth by the CDC, of course. Now, the reason temperature checks are important is because 40% of the patients that do have COVID-19 do indeed develop a fever. The sniffing of stickers is going to be done mainly with younger children. However, it is important for all people, for all the population, because one of the most telltale signs of COVID-19 is anosmia, which is the loss of taste and smell. This is one of the most predictive symptoms of COVID-19. Disinfecting desks twice a day is important because, of course, coronavirus is able to replicate also in the gastrointestinal tract and, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the respiratory tracts, right? So those are all wonderful things to kind of be aware that our local leaders in the state of Texas and bigger cities like San Antonio are embarking on. Something else that we should all keep in mind are the many symptoms that are involved with COVID-19. Again, I'll mention anosmia, the loss of smell and taste, rashes, dizziness, nausea. Older patients have a little bit of cognitive problems. Younger patients might have odd rashes, chest tightness, difficulty breathing, intense fatigue, of course, headaches. Of course, one of the biggest dangers of coronavirus is the hypercoagulative state your body can get into. Now, this might cause another symptom that's, say, another telltale sign of coronavirus, and that is COVID toes. Now, you can get this also on the fingers, but this is very painful red and purple lesions. Now, again, if you have any one of these symptoms or know someone that has, it's very important for all of us to kind of be on the lookout for the rest of us, because as we know, no one is coming to save the day except us. So hopefully we can be compassionate towards one another and be informed and just cautious, not fearful, just cautious, so that we can protect our children, protect our teachers, and our administrators, of course. Now, again, coronavirus is one of those things that is transferred through droplets in the air. There is some degree of variability. Some people believe they're the size of Windex spray droplets, which would mean they're only dangerous within 3 feet. And then there is the camp that believes they're more like aerosol sizes, which is, a lot smaller, and they can travel up to 6 feet. And again, most of this stuff can be transferred through breathing, talking, singing, coughing, and sneezing. One would not believe breathing is that dangerous. This is why wearing masks properly is important. Wearing the mask only like this is helpful. Of course, if you talk, it does muffle that out, but the droplets from your nose are still spreading. Tiny droplets of aerosols in the air, and those are contagious. Talking, of course, scatters the droplets a little bit further. Singing has caused some of those super spreader events like the choir practice in Washington, and of course, coughing and sneezing are not so good, right, for us to be doing, so that's why the masks are very important. A very interesting podcast from NPR cited some studies that are very important to know about, and that is, which also highlight the importance of masks, which is to say, the amount of the virus that you're infected with has a high correlation with the severity of the symptoms. So obviously, if you're asymptomatic, you're not going to feel it no matter what the dose. However, if you do develop the symptoms, the less of the coronavirus that you breathe in or take in whichever way that you have, the less strong the symptoms will be. So because we're all going to be in a confined space, it's very important for us to follow protocols and the like. There are a couple of things that you can purchase. In the article from The Atlantic, it talks a lot about updating your HVAC systems. I'm going to include some products here that are recommended to fight against COVID. Now, remember, having those products is great, but then replacing them a little bit more often than usual until we beat this thing is even better. Now, there are also portable portable filters you could purchase that capture the size of aerosols and even smaller particles, but also zaps them with UVC rays and filters that air back into the class, right? And so it hopefully cleanses the air and protects your children, your students, your parents, your teachers, whoever is on these campuses. Or if you're seeing this video and you work in small offices, this is also useful for you guys to know. I'll include some products there. I am not getting paid by any of these products or companies. I love my community very much, and if this can possibly help and is useful to you guys, you know, purchase these if you can, of course. And if you could afford it, or if you're not a teacher but you're a parent, and once school returns, maybe we could purchase some of these for other teachers, your children's teachers, to help maintain or control the spread of the coronavirus. Of course, there are 3 V's to consider when talking about the coronavirus and its ability to spread within the population. You got to consider the 3 V's. Now that's venue, ventilation, and vocalization. So the venue, how big or small is it? HEB and Walmart, at least here in Eagle Pass, are pretty tall. They have real tall ceilings, and so the amount of air that's in there and the AC and all that, it dilutes most of our breath, right? It's pretty good. It's relatively safe, especially if you're wearing a mask. But smaller rooms like this room or classrooms and filled with a lot of people, you know, and if they're talking, vocalizing, singing, etc., speaking, teaching, people might be more prone to getting infected. The other thing is ventilation. If you have a classroom with a window, it would be good to open the window, obviously, to dilute the air a little bit. Best case scenario would be to teach outside, but this is South Texas, and so it's summer up until like October. It's very, very hot. So that's not necessarily an option here. So that about does it. I hope all of y'all have a safe return. I cannot wait to see all of y'all either in remote learning, and then even better yet, once we get to see each other in person. To my students, I miss y'all. To my colleagues, cannot wait to work alongside of y'all. And to our administrators and local leaders, thank you for all that you do for protecting our community, you know. As for my next video, I wanted to see if you guys can let me know or help me find people who would like to participate. I'm doing a video on local movie rental places in Eagle Pass that include Rodriguez Videos, Video Lico. If you have some experience with Nintendo Mart, and of course the franchises, Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. I want to talk about the nostalgic effect of those entities and the wonderful memories we created, and hopefully how we can replicate some of that into modern life. Of course, we have cell phones right now, but maybe we can replicate some of the cool memories that we got to create back then. God bless y'all, stay safe. Bye-bye. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Visit us at 830community.weebly.com and follow us on Facebook. Thank you guys.